Hey!
Welcome to the FX Podcast.
What's up, everyone? We are back for another episode, FX Amplified, our podcast here at FX Training Club. And today, got a lot to go through. It's the first one for probably 12 months. So call it the start of season 3, I think, of this podcast. We'll see.
We've got a nicer room. Anyway.
We are in a nicer room. It feels quite good. If you're listening, not watching, then you're missing out.
Cups.
yeah, sponsored by. However, what we want to go into today is cover some of the key things that we've been talking to clients about this week. So a huge part of that has been organising your schedule. A huge part of that has been nutrition. Before we go into that, Jay, what's been going on for you recently? How's everything going?
Yeah, I think obviously we're looking at this as we need to do a podcast because we're getting so many of the same things coming up. When I'm talking to people on sales calls or when we're talking to clients in the gym, whatever it is, same sort of things come up, and it's about this sort of longevity of being able to stick to the plan, to be able to constantly have motivation, to constantly be trying to achieve something. And I feel like it's like the framework that people use in their own minds that they get wrong. It's like, it's sort of setting off without a plan, without a target. Obviously, we're running at the minute of the Santa shape up for our clients.
But it is a start for your next summer shape up as well. Get this one done if you want to be in shape for next summer as well.
And the reason being is that we don't necessarily do that much different to what we normally would offer. But there's a difference, and that difference can just be the fact that you're pulling things together. You're having a look at what's going right, what's going wrong. And then based off the fact that you're working on your sort of flaws, if you will, it provides these results. And like last year, I think we had some of our best results of the year in this 8-week.
Well, I think that we always do. So I think when it gets to October, sort of end of September, start of October time, if you can dial things in there, which is like obviously where we were looking at, then it gives you a good runway. But people always struggle at that end of September, start of October, because schools are back. We tend to see that a lot of people get low-level illnesses and just struggle to find the feet. So then as we get to mid-October, it's a time when it's like, you have to start now. You have to get started mid-October. If you're not well within things by early November in terms of feeling on track, and you've recently reset your goals based around your schedule, which we're going to talk about today. But if you've not done that, you keep leaving it a week and it gets nearer to December and more social events come up and we feel worse because we've been either at more social events or busier at work, not getting the training done. And it gets to December. And then as soon as it gets to December, what's everyone's response? They say, we'll leave it until the new year and get started in January. It comes to January and you're feeling so far out of touch with your fitness that it takes at least 3 or 4 weeks to really feel like you're hitting the ground running. The way that you solve that and the way that we can look at this for feeling great over Christmas and over that block without stressing about having odd bad days because you know you've done the work to get you there, and feeling great by the time you do get into January, you know that you hit the ground running and you are feeling exceptionally good. I know Jamie said some of their in that sort of intro, but the reality is that if you're wanting to feel great by next summer compared to how you felt this summer, we have to be doing work now that's going to be taking you there as well. So if you want to feel good at Christmas, feel good all the way through next year, ultimately it starts here and it starts with listening to this podcast. I'm going to mention, because I've just seen on the screen, we've got a big light there and it makes me look even bolder than I actually am. So I'll need the hair powder next time. If you're listening, it's a winner for you guys.
It's not made any difference.
No, okay. It's not made any difference. It's these lights.
It's that big light.
It must be that light. This one might be good. I'll wear a hat next time. It's fine. But yeah, so ultimately we wanted to get on today, get this episode done, and just basically give you guys an insight into what's going to be the best way to get on top of things building into Christmas. We're going to do a lot more episodes over the coming weeks, dealing with how, going through how to deal with social events, going through when if you're not feeling great, but still keeping your motivation and things. Right now, it's not that. Everyone doing our Santa shape up, so everyone is feeling pretty motivated now, which will get you through right now. But the work that you do with that motivation, about planning, about scheduling, about getting things ready to push on, sorting your food out as well, which we're going to talk about today, that's massively, massively important.
Yeah.
So
for me, looking at this, and this is sort of a, it's a, on these podcasts, I don't know, we're not like trying to give you lectures. We're not saying you can't do this, you can't do that. What we're trying to do is sort of,
I'll do that sometimes.
Have a normal conversation about what's a good and a bad idea. What I always think to people is that if you haven't had your goal review session with your coach, do that now, because you're bound to have things a change every sort of 2 or 3 months. Life changes dramatically for most people, and some of you it might be like, you might not be stressed 1 month and stressed the next. You might have a busy period at work and not. You might have something going on with the kids. Josh was saying this week he's not slept. His son's been awake at nights and stuff like that. And I think that sort of thing, the impact that has on you as a person can leave you. And if you've missed a week's worth of training and you've trained a deload week the week before last because you was on high rocks, like the way that Josh would feel today is probably different to the way it felt maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So it's always worth just sort of looking and reviewing and seeing where you're at and self-check-ins and check-ins with your coaches, because this is the time of year that the value of having a coach and having someone to sort of bounce off and talk to really comes in. And I think that's the point of what we're looking at today. We've spoke about, what's your goals, what's your plans. For some of you, the target is just to continue on this sort of longevity plan that you've been on. But we have got opportunity right now. And the opportunity is for us to sort of continuously improve. You come into FX for a reason, because you're that type of person that wants to do that. You want to keep seeing results. We don't really want to sort of put weight on or get less fit. I don't think I've ever done a sales conversation with anyone that says, "Oh yeah, I'm just looking to get less fit and gain a bit of weight." And there's a reason for that. And I think it's sometimes important just to reflect on where you're at. What's going on for you? What's going on in your personal life? What's going on at work? What's going on for your training and your goal setting? To just really sort of hone in on that and sort of get everything like, have a goal and work towards it. Even if that goal doesn't need to be like run a marathon or, lift 5 times body weight or whatever it needs to be. It can be something as simple as like, I want to see a strength improvement. I want to see a body fat reduction by Christmas. So it's about mapping this out now, and that's what we're hopefully going to talk about.
Yeah, well, I think to frame that as well, I mean, we are obviously talking at this because we've just done we did the workshop a couple of weeks ago, but I've just realised that for anyone listening that wasn't at the workshop, we went through a key concept for us, which is a key 5. And I think that everybody, so if you're listening to this, it's something that you should definitely understand. And our concept of the key 5 is that sometimes people will dig into 1 or 2 areas too much and not have the bigger picture view. So if we're wanting to get fitter, we're wanting to get stronger, wanting to get healthier, wanting to basically make that progress. Jeremy made a really sort of key point there. And it made me realize that when we're looking at fitness, I've had this conversation with a few people recently that they're training enough, more than enough, and they are not seeing results. The reason they're not seeing results is that the other aspects of their key 5 are not in place. What the key 5 is, we look at fitness, nutrition, relaxation, recovery, and fulfillment. And making sure, I'm not going to go through it all in massive detail. It is on a previous episode of this podcast. But just making sure that you are looking after more than just getting in the gym and training hard. Because if you're not on top of your recovery, then you're not on top of any adaptation. Your body's not going to be moving forward. Now, if you're only training 2 or 3 days a week, that's obviously less of an issue. But what does come in is if you're highly stressed or if your nutrition's poor. Nutrition doesn't need to be as perfect as what most people think. Yeah. I think that most people try to get the nutrition 100% or they are off track. The reality is that if you're wanting to make progress longer term, you've got to get your nutrition to work for you around your lifestyle. It's got to be something that's fairly easy to do. It's got to be something that you can stick to long term. I think we're sort of in a culture of short-term diets and people wanting to diet for 8 weeks. Obviously, we've got this challenge, which is 8 weeks to refocus. But I'm not suggesting that anybody does something wildly different with the nutrition now to what I'd want them to do afterwards. The reason that we've got this 8-week challenge is to allow people to dial in the motivation at what is usually a challenging time of year. So the reality is that long-term success and long-term results come from making long-term sustainable change. and getting new habits in there when it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to your training, when it comes to your recovery. The more you train, the better we should be with nutrition, but also the more time should be dedicated to recovering from that training. If we're not doing all of that, if you're training more, but your nutrition is staying the same and you're not putting anything else into the tank for recovery or anything else into the tank for relaxation, all that's going to happen is you're going to go through this cycle every couple of months of feeling really good, feeling on top of things because you're getting them immediate changes from training a little bit more. But then something's going to come up, whether it's an injury, whether it's an illness, whether it's that you just get too busy, you're off track, or you just plateau and stop seeing results, lose motivation, feel completely out of it, stop training that much, then go back in. Next time you do it, training, all the eggs go into the training basket, if you will, and we go through that cycle. That's not what we want to see. What we want to see is that, go on, you may as well jump in. I'm happy for you to interrupt.
I've just been thinking, this is the same with dieting. So finishing, I'll come back to it. I will remember. Just remind me of any of them.
But yeah, so that's where we are from, and using training as the example. But all of these aspects are absolutely key. What we need to make sure that we're doing is, I would rather someone trains 4 hours a week with the right intensity, with the right program, with the right focus, and uses that extra hour that they'd usually have the fifth session to get on to spend a bit of time, whether they're doing some stress management work, whether they're planning the meals, whether they go online and do their online shopping or order the meal prep so that they've got things in. Whatever it is, we'll talk about these strategies today. But if you have 8 hours in your week to dedicate to your health and wellness, for a start, you should be giving as much time as you possibly can to that. So we'll go through the scheduling. But whatever that comes out at, if it's 8 hours, if you spend that 8 hours just training, then you are not going to get anywhere near the level of results you would if you split that 8 hours appropriately across the key five. If you're low stress, you're relatively young, you've not had injuries before, you know that your nutrition's on point, then there's not much time that needs to go into that bucket of the stress management, relaxation, recovery. If you're higher stress, you're working long hours, you're constantly dealing with these micro stresses that are coming up, you've got a good training background anyway, so for you to build even further, you need to be training hard and lifting heavy. Well, that's when every couple of hours that you're spending in the gym, you better get at least an hour or so on the other side of it as well to help manage that. That's my point.
Okay, yeah.
Now let's go.
So Josh was saying something there, and he said like something about eggs. What did you say? Something like, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket." Yeah. And it just made me think.
That is a saying, isn't it? I'm not wrong with that. That is. You can comment below if you've not heard that saying before.
I'm in a WhatsApp group with some of the lads that train here at 6 a.m. I won't mention any names, but I'm sure he's bashed on about it enough for people to know. Like, he's just found Eddie Abu on Instagram. So for the past 4 weeks, all I've been dealing with is he's just eat eggs, wake the fuck up, that sort of thing.
Eggs are good.
Honestly, but
don't just eat eggs.
Here's what sometimes happens, and I think that it's a trap that a lot of you fall into. And a lot of clients that I know fall into it, and a lot of people that I speak to on the phone fall into it. We're talking about this balance of life, the balance of lifestyle, fitness, nutrition, recovery, sleep, wellness, fulfillment. All these things are super important for you to get results. But what some people do is they'll either go all in with one of the areas. So like Josh mentioned about training, you're all in, everything, right, I'm going to smash it in the gym. You go and you'll spend your 8 hours a week in the gym, working as hard as you can, going for runs, doing that, but not necessarily looking at the nutrition impact that will then have, or the sleep impact, or the recovery impact, and the fact that all them need adapting for this brand new thing. But what happens is, and it's the same with nutrition, going all in on something. If someone's diet is relatively okay, but let's say someone has a pretty bad diet, they're not planning stuff, they're eating as they go, they're different calories all the time, different every day, just eat what they want when they want. Then all of a sudden that person goes to a diet. It does not matter what that diet is short term for that person to majority of the time see results. So for example, if I cut carbs out on my diet for a week, I know on the scales I would see results at the end of it. If I know that I just want to eat steak and eggs every day, Eddie Abu style, then I know that I'll see results at the end of that by the end of the first or the second week, because I'll feel like I've lost and dropped.
And short term, they're all valid, they're all fine. You're not going to get any massive issues short term from doing
my
that.
My biggest thing on this, and this is something that I have been saying for over a decade to people, more than a decade, as long as I can remember. Because what they do in their brain and what you guys do, I want you to think about the best diet, the best results that you've ever got off a diet. And what everyone says to me is, when I did this though, I lost this amount of weight for 2 weeks. I felt well good. And I said, well, why didn't you stick to it then? Oh, well, like, we're hard to stick to it. We're impossible. What happened after you finished it? Oh, well, I put all the weight back on, but I just couldn't do the diet. Well, surely that shows that you shouldn't be doing the diet nearly small, but I didn't. I held it back. That short-term success is what everyone keeps striving for when it comes to
podcast.
Yeah, when it comes to, I'm sure it won't be all the time. When it comes to dieting, like, we have to think about, right, well, actually, what am I going to do longer term? Yes, we can do short term, and I think it's important that we look at things as short term sometimes. But if we know it's not going to be something that we do forever, or if it has an impact on some of the other stuff that we're doing, then you have to consider it as, like, is this the right approach? So, for example, reducing carbs, cutting them right out, but then simultaneously trying to increase your training time, you're not sleeping very well, that sort of thing. Is that the best approach for you right now? No, probably not. Will it get you quick results over the first 2 weeks? Probably. But on week 4 or 5, the weeks before Christmas, it's not necessarily going to do it. So what we need to do is we need to be starting to think about things as, like, what is my best? What's best for me at this moment in time? So let's look at training. Right. Am I training all the areas that I need to train? And is my program matching what I'm supposed to do? We recently changed it, affects the way that we deliver sessions so that people didn't have to choose whether they did strength or a conditioning session, so that they just have X amount of sessions now. And the reason for that was so that people have the flexibility. If they need to be increasing the conditioning, do more conditioning sessions. If they want to do more strength stuff, go to strength. The same with, like, mobility and stretching. Yeah, I asked the class the other day, we had a covered last week, and I was like, can I just ask curiosity, how many of you spend time? They all come, whatever time in the morning it was, straight in for the session, do the quick mobility stuff, leave straight after it. How many of you actually spend time thinking about your mobility or any stretching or anything like that? Zero do it. That's it. It was literally no people in the class do, apart from the ones that go upstairs to do yoga and Pilates, which is what ticks their box for it. It's the same with, like, your nutrition. Is if you're thinking now, right, what can I do on the lead up to Christmas? You have to consider what is going to happen on the lead up to Christmas, right? Well, I've got a do on this day, a do on that day, a do on that day. I'll be drinking there, I'll be eating out here and here. You can manage around that as long as you have it planned, as long as you organise yourself and say, well, actually, calorie-wise, I might be reducing my calories the week before, a bit of a bender at weekend, and you'll still get good results. It will still be fine. Same with training, though, is that we can't just expect that we're going to come and say, right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to smash my training, I'm going to do more, without thinking about the other side of it.
I'm going to interrupt and say, if you have a bit of a bender at weekend, you won't still get good results. It won't be fine. But go on, continue.
If you train with Josh.
Yeah. No,
I don't mean like you
know what these guys are like. You know that these guys are listening and they go, well, Jamie said I could have 38 pints this weekend.
Yeah, they can, as long as they're willing to not eat a carb Monday to Friday.
Well, here's why you can't. And this is why. And we'll get into this in one of the future episodes. It is a joke. But because I know people will try and jump onto it. If you do that, you're probably going to get ill for a couple of weeks in December. When you're ill, you're probably not going to be able to train.
And die, actually. If you drink, you will die.
He says this as if... Anyway, he says this as if people are going to get really good results with drinking.
No, I'm not saying they're going to get good results. I'm not saying
you certainly can include alcohol within a diet phase. Definitely. Different things what you said. That's what I'm trying to...
I'm sure that our clients don't see 3 day... Like, I didn't say 3 day bender. I said a bit of a bender at weekend. That a bit of a bender could be drinking on a Saturday night. Yeah. I'm not being specific and saying if anyone's been out Friday to Monday.
This is my issue with that, is that the strategy that people used to use for managing drinking a lot at a weekend, if I look at it from that key 5 standpoint, it directly is going to absolutely annihilate your sleep. It's going to massively change your ability to stick to your diet for the next few days. and you're not going to see it as that. You're just going to feel like you've come off the wagon. You're not going to relate your Tuesday cakes at lunchtime to the fact that you were drinking on Saturday night. But you're not going to relate the fact that you're training like shit for the next few days to the fact that you were drinking. But it probably is all related, and it's then going to have the effect on the immune system. If we do it often, I guarantee if you can manage drinking to 1 or 2 beers when you have a drink, or a couple of beers, a couple of glasses of wine, and that's sort of normal for you, we don't need to sort of take that out because you're on a plan or anything like that. But if it's much more than that, if it's enough to affect your sleep, if it's enough to affect your recovery, what doesn't work, in my experience, it works short term but not long term, is unless you are very low stress anyway, what doesn't work is over reducing your calories that week to try and make up for it, because it ends up coming back and getting you. It'll either get you through injury, it'll get you because you're not sleeping, it'll get you through changes in appetite that's making you eat more. Might be a difference now if people are on weight loss drugs with that appetite change. Don't know how it interacts, not looked at it, or we'll find out for next week for you. But ultimately, there's loads of reasons why drinking and dieting hard to give you them calories to drink isn't going to work. We can do it to a level, but it's got to be sort of small movements of the dial. Drop your calories a little bit to account for a bit more at the weekend,
100%.
rather than big movements.
But
I'm only saying it because people sometimes jump on it and they'll think, yeah, but because I'm having 3,500 calories on a Saturday, I need to drop my calories 700 calories more every day.
And what you have to actually look at is that when we're talking about this, and this is someone now that, you know, I probably have had in the past times where every weekend I drink. I certainly haven't done that for probably 18 months now.
Yeah, definitely not.
And I think that it's completely changes how you feel the rest of the week, which I understand as well. I think that this time of year, though, you're going to have someone that's going to the markets and going to want to go out on a day out with a missus or whatever. When we talk about key fives, there are going to be things that you include in your fulfillment that might involve this. I don't want to go too much into it because, to be honest, I don't think a lot of our clients drink anymore. I think there's been a massive shift.
10 years ago versus now is
completely different. And I think the people that were drinking or do drink like that, you know,
people are more health aware now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like you look at like younger people and their drinking culture, certainly the ones that I know and I'm around, is just completely different. They might think it's maybe that's just my kid who's just turned 18, but you can see the impact like on him when he's had a beer.
It's not 2005 anymore.
No, I think as well. You know, we talk about it like you're all gonna. When I say benders, I don't actually think that. You know, I think the context of what that is different now. For me, just having a few drinks on a Saturday night would be a bender. Ask me that 5 years ago, that would not be what a bender was.
4 days.
But I think things have changed. I think the world, like just in general, we're seeing it across board. So many more people are not drinking and not finding that an issue. What I'm saying to you is that if you have got something planned that is gonna be drinking and whatever else, that's fine for them specific.
I think that's an approach as well, that like you definitely go more towards the. And it's not a right or wrong. It's literally my approach and your approach. You definitely go more towards we're going to try and manage your calories in the week to deal with the fact that you're going to be drinking. And I think it's probably that for a long time, your client base and my client base were different. My guys were not going out drinking. So it was like, it's a lot. If you are drinking, you have to take it as a loss because we ain't got that capacity to lose. My goal with people was always, and still is with you guys, because I think it's the exact same for wellness, but it's just a personal ethos and perspective on it, is that after you've had a drink, I want you to be recovered as quickly as possible to get back to a baseline to start moving forward.
And what I would say to people that are my clients that do drink at weekends and stuff is like remember a few years ago we did the whole pass thing. You get a whole pass, you get 1 or 2 in the 8-week block. Yeah, that's it. And I think that's what people get wrong is that because Bob's come up at Tuesday lunch and they're going out for a work lunch and they don't like the people anyhow, but they're still going to go and ruin the day of calories because they're having a few beers with them. They take that one off that list. They don't drink at that event anymore.
Yeah.
That comes out of it. The one where you going to your granny's funeral and you want to have a beer with your brother you've not seen for however long, fine, have a bit of a bender.
100%. Although hopefully for most of you can't pre-plan that 8 weeks in advance. Maybe you can. But
you'll have to edit that out.
But it is it is a key point though that.
But it's the same. We don't need to just talk about.
A normal
we don't need to just talk about alcohol in this context.
No, this is everything. This is
your nutrition.
If it's a normal day, and you've not got a big event planned, and you're saying I'm going to be on track, you've got to think going towards December, where we know that there's more events coming up. You're going to have big events that come up that mean that you are off plan. One of them is our Christmas party, which we encourage everyone to just go and have a good night, eat what you want, drink what you want. It's that one time a year that we say for us, go for it. If you know that you've got these couple of dates coming up, why would you be completely off plan? Like, I understand from a motivation point of view, but what I want to get across is on all of the other days that's not that, be on track, be 100% on track. Don't go home and have a couple of beers. Don't have your chocolate cake or whatever when you're getting it. Try and be on track as if you're going pretty much all out to your diet within, 80, 90% all on track, all good foods towards your calories, so that when them days come up, you're not eating shit every day for the week. That's a day that you knew was going to come up. And that really is the point of this Santa Shape Up that we do at this time of year. Is it's not like summer shape up that we do. The summer shape up is very much focused on let's get maximum results because you guys are going on holiday and you want maximum results. That's sort of what that's driven to.
And we don't get sidewinded with anything last minute. Like what
you control.
The worst thing is when you go into
World Cup and Euro years. We have to work around.
The worst thing is when you're working so hard to do something like you're trying to stay on top. You're trying to get some good results before Christmas, and then you go into like a workplace and everyone's got loads of fucking celebrations everywhere and cakes, and it's Halloween today, so everyone's going out eating like sweets and biscuits that they wouldn't normally have. They're just decisions that we have to be. We just have to be in that position and this is why we have a target that we're going for. Is that do we actually need to eat cupcakes with our kids on Halloween night and sweets? Yeah, you might want one or two that you can account for, but really the rest of the time, do I need to go and like it's 1:30?
Yeah, that's right.
On the rest of the time, do I really need to plan that as like something that's going to completely throw me off plan? If I know that I've got a Halloween trick-or-treat party to go to, yes, I might have something, but I'm not, maybe it's just me. I'm not that arsed about eating them cupcakes and sweets with the kids. They can have them themselves and I can still stick to my planned meal, still have what I'm going to eat. I'm still, it still can be the same thing. And I think that we spoke about how we make this easier for ourselves. Yeah. Like, how are we making this easier? And the first thing is to make sure that we sort of organised, planning, knowing when we're going to fall off, when we're not, and just go from there.
So, guys, we have not gone through anything that we said we were going to go through, but that'll have to be it because I need to go. So, I think that everything that we've spoke about there, though, to be honest, is really important. It's about being able to manage them days when they're off track. It's about making sure that we know exactly how we are going to deal with it when them days are coming up. Like, book it in now. Make sure that you know it's booked in now. The only other stuff that we were going to go through really is all available anyway on the training this week. If you're on the Santa Shape Up, if you're not, message us straight away and ask how you can get onto it. If you're listening to this in May 2028 or whenever it is that you're listening to it, just message us anyway. Check in. I'm sure we've got something for you then as well.
Next time we're going to go through the ways that people are losing weight, inclusive of like weight loss drugs at the minute.
How you make your diet right long term and easy to do. I think that most of the time people make diets much harder than they need to be. I've just started my first couple of weeks of this year where I'm going to be actively dieting. Not done any weeks at all dieting this year because it's been a very busy year. But I've just started it, and the way that you set it up, sorting your schedule out, making sure that you are fully on track in terms of your nutrition, how you're going to do it, how you're going to make it easier, as it's essential. If you get it right, you almost and that confident that you can get in great shape every time that you diet, that you know exactly how long it's going to take, means that you don't really need to worry about it ever. You can just pull your shape back into where it needs to be whenever you want. That really is the level that you get to. Most people think it's really difficult to do. The reality is that, like anything, if you spend a little bit more time getting the planning phase right and setting up for you to then make it easy while you're going through it, it's a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
That's us. Cool.
Sweet.
See you later. Speak next time.
See you then.